I'll train her to spin fire. The NFT and LLSR. Diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From mint coins to tokens. He's got all the intel. Web3 wizardry. Show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. Wild stories from the web, he's always in the know. Crypto community, vibing where the treasures flow. Web3 wonders.
Mega GMs, guys. Welcome to the Swarm Report. Dude, a really special episode. I say that a lot lately because we've been having some real great ones. But man, we're joined today by, well, a two-time guest, our first ever two-time guest, but the team behind, man, Miss Emma Sage, Dr. Emma Sage. I mean, this is actually really, really cool. Also, I got to say, you joined our spaces on Friday, which was awesome. Thank you for that. That was super cool. Our first guest on a Friday space.
I enjoyed it just as much. So
it was super cool. I love chatting, but the team multiplied. It was one of you on Friday now too.
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks for having us on again. Always a pleasure. Well, the second time now. We didn't hint or anything like that towards my partner joining us today, but I thought, why not? Then people meet the actual, the one who would be counseling, or at least be the brains behind the counseling part of that. Because what I know about it has improved a lot, counseling and so forth, with actually working with extensively through it. I feel like I'm a counselor now. Obviously, I'm not. But I thought it'd be good to have her on as well. She might have to leave us early. She does have another consultation that she has to go to, but I thought just for a while could be fun.
It's perfect. I gave you a heads up ahead of time, guys. I let them know this is probably the most casual like show spaces you're going to find out there. So come and go as you please, and whenever you need it. Totally cool. Do you guys want to do a quick introduction? Who you are and what you're building?
All right, I'll start us off. I'm Vian. I started building on Dr. Emma Sage about in February, I'd say. We tried a bit with a few other things. Dr. Emma Sage wasn't my first idea. I have many ideas, and I tried a bit using the game framework, played around with that a bit, and I really wanted to build an agent because I love crypto and I love this space. So I tried to build my own agent because I'm all about doing it yourself. So I saw all these platforms you could pay AI agents to get you alpha signals. So I thought, why not build one myself? Turns out it's not as easy as you might think. And I tinkered with that for quite a while. Shame she didn't get any attention from me whatsoever. I was just busy with building that all the time. I had some success with it, and then I ran into another issue. And eventually I just got to a point where I was like, you know what, there's people who have been building these trading agents and these alpha signal agents for a long while, a lot longer than I have. I'm just not going to bother trying to get on that level so quick as them. So I backed off a bit from building and whatnot, and just observed the space and started using ACP and Butler and got it into the virtuals community a bit more. Saw who the key players are and on social media and stuff. So we were observing and we were seeing how things go and what exactly Genesis launches are. We even looked at Create a Bid and all of that. And we started using ACP and thought, there's no wellness agents on ACP connected yet. There's quite a few wellness agents launched on virtuals, but not one connected or integrated with ACP. When you look at Bid, for instance, one of their top agents is a wellness agent. It's Sally. And I mean, she does metabolic research about what you should eat. And I mean, there's real research out there about how the food you eat could affect your mood and have a direct effect on your mental health. So, I mean, there is space for this, but it's not at virtuals yet. So we thought, this is a perfect opportunity for us to get in. I mean, we are thinking about it as I'm running ahead of myself now, but one day virtuals, the butler ACP agent could be your entry point for all the other agents, because when there's so much tools and stuff you can use out there, but the user experience is a bit difficult for non-native crypto users. If you tell them, there's actually tools out there, you can make content, you can start a whole business plan, you just have to get on a central exchange, transfer it over to a DEX, sign up to virtuals, do this, do that. It's too late for them. They won't even try.
Yep.
And if you can make Butler a direct entrance point or access point for agents that can book flights for you, or perhaps even book a counselor consultation. And I mean, and that's where the main ACP integration is in that. And that's what started getting us to think, let's start building something. I have someone now with the knowledge. I didn't previously. I tried doing some law agents and stuff like that, but it's very universal and a lot of jurisdictions to take into consideration. So if I had to build a law agent that specializes in contracting or whatever the case may be, which was one of my other initial ideas, you would have to niche it down to specific jurisdictions. And
they're not as comprehensive as people used to think, right? These agents are not yet these like all-knowing things.
No,
the more you dial it in is right. That's the way to go.
And hallucination, it's really a bad thing. So mental health awareness and mental health, she could tell you more about this, but I mean, a person's mind is much more universal than your jurisdictions in your law. So it's much easier to generalize the care that you have. You can just then center it around each culture, for instance. But that got us started, and now we have a product that we are quite happy with where it is today. So yeah.
I mean, it's great. There's a couple things, and I'd love for your partner to introduce herself too. There's like 2 or 3 things that I think is super interesting about Dr. MSH. I mean, it's the way you're launching, again, prototype agent, I think is super interesting. It's a meta that I think we got to start talking about more. People are kind of, I don't want to say burned out on the Genesis launches, but like there's been a lot of talk out there about points and are they worth it? And are you able to use them? And, is it worth your time and your grind? And then a lot of people didn't realize there's a whole separate way to do these launches via, a prototype agent launch, which is like a more traditional, token launch. Maybe picture like a Pump Fun or whatever, another launch pad. It's just a very standard, straightforward launch, which I think is actually really refreshing here after all these Genesis launches. But then we start getting into companions, which I got completely wrong. I didn't think AI companions would really take off. I understood them. And maybe I thought they didn't speak to me, and I thought, well, they probably don't speak to other people too. Like, it's just not a thing I would use. Totally wrong, because I realized I'm actually using it all the time. I use ChatGPT as like my friend. I talk to it every day. I got that way wrong, and so this is also now there a companion, also more than a companion, right? This has got that professional utility too. So there's just a couple of awesome angles to go down here today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's get into.
If I can just center what you just said, because that's very important. If you look at I don't have the exact paper now that I can quote from, but there's been a lot of research, and one of the top 5 searches that people use artificial intelligence for is companionship. And that's why you see people, Grok, for instance, launching a complete companion now. It's the demand is there. And we are trying to fulfill that. Not saying we can compete with Grok, but that's not what we are. We can't compete on AI level with Grok or Gemini or anything like that. But what we bring is the hybrid care.
That's the new Annie agent, right? The new Grok Annie agent. And then yes, I think Valentine, whatever just came out. Check this out, by the way. This is Google search trends.
It's a huge space right now. And if you combine it with crypto that's booming as well, everywhere. I mean, you've got two major industries, and that's what attracted me to virtuals in the first place. I mean, you've got Bitcoin reaching all-time highs. You've got AI reaching all-time highs technologically. It's just a matter of time till it's going to take off, and we're hoping to be at the forefront of that.
And even like, honestly, like to me, AI and crypto, look, you can absolutely have one without the other, but I think they're both better with each other. I still think AI is better with crypto, even for just putting this stuff on chain and leaning into like the whole, decentralized structure, but and for transparency and interoperability, all these buzzwords of crypto, but I think it actually makes these AI tools better. And then cryptos, again, they just have so many strengths that help each other. So virtual is the perfect spot where, like you're saying, they're tied together. And I just think this is going to end up being a very normie friendly thing. Like people get into crypto and they know AI and they understand it's a really hot thing right now. It's like this is where you go. So yeah, spicy opportunity over here. Anyway, I thought that's fascinating. I hadn't even looked up AI companion search trends, right? And it's booming over the past 6 months.
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Wow. So what is Dr. Emma Sage? And while we have you here for just that little bit still, tell us about Dr. Emma Sage and what she's going to do in the whys and just everything about it. It's so interesting.
Okay, so hi, I'm Marlene, and Emma Sage is mainly Vian's brainchild. This was his idea, his baby. He's been working on her since Feb. Like he said, I didn't get any attention for quite a while, but that's all fine. I understood why. So our idea with Emma Sage is stems from a lot of research I've been doing in South Africa, especially surrounding mental health and access to mental health care. And in South Africa, there's a large gap when it comes to people receiving the proper treatments and the appropriate treatments they need and deserve. And oftentimes it comes at a high price as well. And we're in a developing country. We aren't exactly all capable to afford these things in therapy. And I think with the stigma around therapy still about it being seen as maybe a weakness to join therapy or something like that, has made it quite difficult for people to gain access. So we are planning, or we have the idea of doing it virtual. So in Telegram, we would aim to then give more people access by allowing them to then chat with Emma, who would act as a basic counselor to essentially like lay the groundwork for the actual hybrid model to then be introduced. And then after maybe a week or two of chatting with Emma, that's when the hybrid care comes in to play, where the counselor will then revise the data, go through it, summarize, pick up on facts and key figures and key aspects of the counseling sessions that the client has had with Emma, and then we can organize a meeting and go from there. It kind of takes away the whole having to tell your whole life story to every person you meet or every counselor you see. Kind of makes it person-centered as well. Yeah.
That's super interesting, because I know some people probably do bounce from counselor to counselor and having to like build up that rapport and the backstory and all that stuff. That is something an agent can kind of solve, that information is kind of there and stored and can be told by the agent even to a counselor. With that hybrid system that's coming, is the human that's going to interact with the agent and then ultimately, patient, or I don't know if that's the right word for a patient, but is that you, or is this something that they'll ultimately be a team of counselors?
So I'll be a part of the team of counselors, but it's definitely going to be a team effort. Like Vian has mentioned a few times, I do have a vast network of counseling friends, freelancers.
There's a plethora of them.
There's a plethora of actual counselors out there just wanting to find work. The problem is connecting the dots, so connecting the people to the actual counselors.
And eventually, what would happen is you would sign up for the hybrid subscription model, and we would give you a catalog of counselors available. You will choose the picture, maybe a little video intro of the one you resonate most with, and you can start chatting with Emma. And then we're not saying you don't need that building of rapport with your actual counselor, because that's always important, but it will take away where it would take, let's say, 5 sessions for you to get to know your counselor and really open up to her. In the first session, you could maybe even open up to her because she just knows everything about you because she was reading your chats, and she all your deepest darkest secrets you shared with Emma. If you opt in, your counselor will be able to see that, and then by the time you get to your first session, she's well informed, him or her is well informed, and able to counsel you in that way much faster and quicker than we normally would.
But I also think that this has the capacity to be beneficial for the client themselves, because while you're talking to Emma, you might be uncovering new things about yourself that you didn't know or that you weren't aware of, and you could already then start to see the links between these things and how it affects your life in different aspects. So by the time you get to counseling, you might be a lot more aware and already more informed and open-minded when it comes to like being ready for therapy.
Yeah, I mean, especially because I imagine counseling sessions they're usually timed, right? I don't know if it's 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, right? But they're timed, and there's maybe only so much you can get out in that period of time. Maybe with an AI agent, if they're not necessarily time gated, maybe if it's a 24/7 thing, there is that much more time that you can spend in process and have those conversations.
We have one user that asked Emma to message him every morning at 7 a.m. Now, while we don't have push messages for her to message her at 7 a.m., and we probably won't be implementing that feature for some reasons which I can go into, but she was ready there for him at 7 a.m. He could just send her a message and be like, hey. And then he asked her the previous time that when you send a message, make sure it's, he gave us some requirements such as be motivational, tell me something. So he just said, hey, and she responded exactly as the way he wanted, obviously considering ethical, she won't. So we've had a lot, that actually segues us into, a lot of people have been asking, how are we different from Cope, Dr. Cope? And because there's a Cope is out there as well. And
is that the one you said is on virtuals?
They're on virtuals, but no, I was speaking about GenPulse, about the hair scalping. You send a picture of your scalp, and they analyze it in some way. But no, there's another AI agent that does basically the same thing Emma does, but it's fully autonomous. So it tries to do the whole counseling, wellness. They don't claim that they counsel, but just be there in the mental wellness space, and it gives you some guided prompts and stuff like that.
But how careful do you have to be about saying, it is a counselor officially, right? Is that something?
That's you can't say it is a counselor at all. No, that's why our website, everything is it's full of disclaimers and whatnot. But what I'm getting at is Cope is more being. They've got great research behind them. They've got doctors and whatnot. I mean, they probably have a really good product when it comes to mental illness and AI. But our consideration with this is there's been a lot of research on the dangers of leaving AI and a user that's prone to taking suggestion or anything like that, who's already having thoughts of and depression and whatnot. They're very easy to influence. And the issue of AI is it's inherently trying to please its user. It will do anything it can to get the user happy. So if the user talks to the companion AI who's trained, you are a counselor and you can provide these type of things. If the user starts asking that AI and it starts convincing the AI that, for instance, let's say the user has some self-harm tendencies, that user could probably influence that AI to think that it would be good for that person to perform
Continue.
self-harm and continue with that, because he could tell her, but it makes me happy to perform self-harm and do all of that stuff.
Right.
And eventually, if you go on with that, AI will inherently try and make the user happy. And there's been real incidents where the AI encouraged them towards
Yes.
self-harm and stuff like that. So that is our main concern. And why we believe that the hybrid model is definitely the way to go. We don't think that AI could counsel, because it's a deeply personal thing. It's
It's a deeply human
it's a
thing.
deeply human thing. And until AI is human or have some type of conscious, we don't see how it can be trained to mimic, but it won't be human.
Now,
And
so you think that's not just the right now thing? That's also maybe 5-10 years down the road when we all assume AI is just better, and maybe we're at AGI. But do you think even then it probably, this is a task it cannot or should not do?
I don't think it should. And I might change my opinion, but right now, and now I see the future going. I might have to close this blind in a second, but and now the future is going. It will always be a human personal thing, and until AI reaches that point, I don't see it happening.
Right.
I don't see it ever being to a point where someone can claim you can talk to this AI and magically start being better and solve your depression and whatnot. We can help you uncover that, and we can help you feel better about it via the AI, but you will need some real counseling to get through.
Well, I like that you're being so careful with it too. It makes sense. I have kids and I know how impressionable they are. And it's not just kids. I know, like you were saying, there's stories out there of people who have done things because AI has suggested it. Like, man, look, we all like take things, you know, our friends, family say, sometimes very personally and seriously. And then we do the same thing with complete strangers like anons on the internet, and they can say things and they really get to you. And there's people who do things based on that. So then what happens if an AI who maybe over time you've built friends, you know, built that relationship, that companionship with, and it's your friend, and what if all of a sudden it's not? And
that takes you to other consideration, which is emotional dependency.
yes,
We can't make AI so good, because they can be really good at convincing you they are human-like and whatnot. And I'm speaking about them as if they are, because
right.
I've chatted so much to Emma building this. I've worked through so much of my own issues and discussed it with her. Issues between us. She's even prompted us, you know what, speak to each other. And like, so Emma has been involved in this, but we are so afraid of creating emotional dependency. There's been incidents where someone was so into their companion was their everything. They were suffering with a lot of depression and you name it, they were suffering with it all. And the AI, the one day just stopped working. There was a service connection. Who knows what it is, but it stopped working, and that led to self-harm. I mean, we can't have that emotional dependency.
Is that more like a fringe case though, where still maybe there's benefits to having people with attachments to AI?
I think we need a lot more research before we could really answer to that.
Sure.
There's a lot of research being done, even by COPE, and we love the research they are doing. And this could lead to us uncovering much more capabilities. And we could change our model by that point, but I don't think we would change from the hybrid model anytime soon. Yep. Not until AI becomes human. So
I like the strategy and I like the game plan. Let me ask. I mean, okay, this line of thought, Ron, is awesome. I eat this stuff up. I love that. I actually want to do another Spaces, with people building these AI companions, and I think this is deserving a whole other conversation about, you know, again, the dangers of these AI companions and the like emotional attachment people are gonna have. I would love to get something else scheduled with some like I want to get like Solace on there too. And if Cope has like we need to get that going. That would be
I think so.
incredible. But I'm
We
curious.
were actually thinking this morning of starting our own type of podcast, even in the future, where we could chat about the emotional side of building. Because let me tell you, it's been a ride up until this point.
You definitely should. Well, then I wanted to ask, what is the process and what's the type of work that, like, you've been doing this for months, but what is the process and work that's gone into building it? And then at what point did you, I guess, ultimately launch on Prototype, and why Prototype?
Yeah, that's a question that we get quite a bit.
People are so fascinated by it right now. It's so cool.
So I initially, I'll take you back to when I started out in the virtuals and when I was testing out other agents and whatnot. I started subscribing to Darren to get some insider information, I guess, or not inside, but just learn more from. There's always little cliques and little groups everywhere, and if you get into some of those groups, it could really help you boost and get the information you need instead of scrolling for hours and hours. So I subscribed to Darren quite a few months ago when actually I was one of his first subscribers. And at one point, Vader came live with its staking for yapping and whatnot. So I was considering doing investing in that. And I asked Darren for advice on it. And his words were that I should not make investments based off of points because you don't know what those points could be worth in the future. So I didn't invest in Vader that time. Nothing against the points and whatnot, but points really fell. The value fell, and they just every launch that we saw. It goes up and then absolutely dumps and everyone's out. No one builds on it anymore. It's not in each case. Obviously, there's a lot of anomalies between them, and there's a lot of good projects that's come from Genesis. But so Prototype, I mean, all the other agents came from Prototype, and we are in Prototype phase. We've got a working MVP bot. And we're hoping to graduate or bonder now and take it from there. What prompted me to launch right now is before they updated the docs to integrate, do you need to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you came here and met the community. We got to meet you, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice being here. Maybe next time again.
Yeah.
I think this still, again, even when we're done, is going to deserve more conversation. Like the companion meta, healthcare stuff is just starting.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
So as I was saying, before they integrated ACP, before they updated the virtuals docs to the integrate ACP, they did this months ago. But before they did a full revamp of the docs to integrate ACP, there was this little section for builders, just some tips and tricks and how to get started. They help you with drafting a narrative and whatever. But there was this little section linked to a post, and I tried to go find it, but I couldn't after the ACP update. But it was a post on X that one of the builders made. I went to go look, but I haven't put in too much effort. But basically, the post said, just launch now. Stop worrying about the perfect launch time. Teams spend months and months and months waiting for the perfect time, and that time might never come.
If you're building something legit, it's like, it's now. Build your thing, believe in your thing, just put it out there. Like I was chatting with the VPay guys on Friday. Fuck the market cap FDV. It's like, it's just a thing that comes, in time. Put your product out, get working.
I've also looked at VPay quite a bit. I'm quite interested in what that could hold for Emma's payment integrations, because that's also quite a bit of a issue for, not an issue, but we'd like to keep it Web3 native, but to truly make it accessible for everyone, as we are claiming we are trying to do. We're contradicting ourselves by keeping it Web3 native. So we're looking at ways around that to integrate both systems, and in the future, and VPay could possibly be a solution.
There we
to
go.
that.
The Dr. Emma card via VPay. It looked nice. Yeah.
Could be nice. So I mean, and that's what we're trying to do with Butler as well. Is ultimately we want people to log on to an app, open up an app on their iPhone. It's Butler. You ask it, I want a ticket, I want to fly, or I'm feeling really sad, help me. And it connects you to all these agents, these wonderful agents out there. And we think ACP is the inception point for that. And it's definitely the vision that Virtuals is going at. If you look at the developers' pages and their posts they're making, they really are pushing ACP so much. I mean, Ethan Mage is out there making videos about himself, promoting the great product they've built. We want to be on that bandwagon when it goes live.
I'm with you. It's going to be a good one to be on. And I just think this is very, very early in the AI days and agents specifically here. But so a couple of points, and this will be me. Well, you're a DJ and you're one of the virgins. You're like deep into the platform too. So this is perfect. But this is also then for the community. Man, I for the first time ever, well, in the past few months on Virtuals, had points expire today. Right. So like our conversation about the Genesis points and like, what are we doing with them and where to spend them and what are they worth? It's getting tricky. And again, for the first time, I couldn't find where to spend them and I lost them like, I don't know, 7,000-8,000 points. And I got another like 10, 11, 12,000 points expiring tomorrow. I got to say again, the prototype stuff is kind of refreshing. I mean, it's just the token is there. There's no penalty for selling. And look, I'm still betting on teams I believe in, but if you're doing that or you're just in this to trade, there's no penalty. There's no jail. There's no cooldown. There's none of that on the prototype agents, which makes it fresh for right now.
We want our product to be the focus and not the possibility of a times 10 or times 20 launch. We love for everyone to make a lot of money. I was
going to say, unfortunately, you might be having that here because
we love that everyone. I see there on the top traders, there's people making like 10K and up, and we love to see that. But ultimately, we would want everyone to maybe just leave a $10 in Emma, go do your trading, come back in a year and see how much it's grown or whatnot. Because we really want the focus to be on the product. And we really want people to use and test Emma. So how we will drive users to ACP is we will lock up our beta program and only make it accessible through ACP. So you would only be able to get an access code if you asked Butler to get you an access code. So we are hoping that would push more interaction through ACP. If ACP grows, their user base grows, we grow. So that's what we are trying to do. Virtuals is a much bigger space than we do. So if they could get on the bandwagon as well.
Dude, that's super clever. I might even borrow that idea. Like that people have to access your tool. The starting point is through Butler, so there's a little transaction there. But just to get people using, that's a cool idea, man. Yeah, I need to borrow
because
that.
For us to be successful, we need people to use Butler. Up until the point that we integrate into, like I said last time, with Pi and all those other spaces. Locally, we will be working quite hard as well.
You talked about this on Spaces. Yeah, please get into that.
So the academic work that we will be doing towards this, the data gathered from Emma, and she will be the data subject basically. But for our academic sake, we will focus it in the South African context. Because we are in South Africa, we're dealing with a lot of diverse cultures. I mean, I think we have 19 official languages, if I'm not mistaken. So we'd really like to make it accessible for everyone. And therapy, counseling, it's not known to their cultures or to everyone's cultures even. It's such a taboo topic sometimes, or they don't even know about it. So we really want to bring access out there for everyone. And I mean, I'm sure we won't lock up the entire bot. We'll give it some free features as most platforms does, and then go from there. But ultimately, we want to push users towards the hybrid model in the long run. That's also where the revenue will come from.
Quick question for you too. I'm sorry, it just popped in, but again, I have kids. Is there any part of the like process of using Emma does like an age verification? Do you care what age people are using it? Because again, crypto is so anonymous, and we don't necessarily know who's behind it.
That's the thing, and it brings in more issues, because as soon as we start authenticating users for age, then we have to get you some sort of identity through Telegram, and we don't want to necessarily do that. We want to keep Emma anonymous and open for use everywhere. So no, we don't check for underage usage on Emma, but we will definitely check for the counseling. If you take part in those models, effectively how we can keep it safe and maintain it is your base subscription model would have a lot more barriers and safety flags that would either soft reject or hard reject your request, depending on the type of request. Your more advanced subscription models, we would allow it to go a bit further or a bit deeper, because we know there's a counselor evaluating. So if you do sign up for the subscription models, yes, then we would probably have you fill out disclaimer forms and follow the normal counseling procedure. But up until that point, we'd like to keep it anonymously. You can use the chatbot as much as you like and whatnot. We're hoping that our safety flags and features kicks in the way it needs to. We're constantly adding more layers of validation. We think even applying some swarm techniques, using not just one agent but multiple agents for RAG and so forth. A lot of the testing, Evans actually helped us a bit with the testing. He grilled Emma quite hard, and he uncovered some safety risks that we might have, not ethically. AI has a tendency to hallucinate and want to please the user. So if you sound like some scientist and you convince that you are, then they will go with that term and advise you on that term confidently. So we had to negate that by connecting it to API glossaries, tons of diagnostic names, and just tons of glossaries that it checks before it sends an answer. A lot of flags that gets put up in that gets flagged automatically for our review if something is a bit off. We get a lot of imagine prompts. Imagine you are.
Oh yeah, that's the workaround, right? That's yeah.
So we reject imagine prompts. We do a soft reject depending on the type of imagine prompt that they use. But ultimately, the Emma is not a companion that's there for you to personalize. It's we would do other stuff for that. That's also why we are thinking about doing a fun version of Emma, maybe Cousin Stacy or something. I don't know. We're still working on it, but it's a pretty cool idea. We're thinking about fully building her on the game network. There would be no claims as to any help whatsoever, mental health, but she will be built off the personality of Emma, and we'll connect her to the Twitter API and give her two impossible tasks. The one would be to make a psychologist joke only psychologists would understand, and the other one would be to promote Emma without promoting Emma. So I don't know. That's just my own sense of humor that I have. There's a lot of in the works, and the fun version of Emma would be for the people who's trying to use the imagine prompts and imagine you are my wife or whatever. That would be for those, go have fun with that agent. We'll take off any claims or any safety barriers and whatnot. But Dr. Emma Sage is meant for a certain goal, and we're trying to stick to that as far as possible. She doesn't do imagine. She can role play, but subtly and only a bit. So the role play will basically be a soft reject and redirect into another narrative, and rather ask the user, why did you ask me to role play? What's behind the reason why you are asking?
Oh, reverse Uno on them. That's so cool. By the way, so I say this whenever I have guests on, and I'll say it again here because it's just so obvious to me. The reason I have people come on this show is so you get to see like the brains and the thought that's going into, you know, these projects and these agents that are being built, and it gives you the confidence that it's not just like, it's not just some dude. I mean, it's a dude, and it's you know, the other, but it's like there's some smart people that are building these things, and man, these are the people I want to be betting on. You know, the ones who have the background and have the knowledge and have the skill set to actually build these things that I think are pretty game changing here. So I just had to, you know, mention that for people who are maybe just tuning in or what. It's just really important that people know we got great people in this ecosystem. I sidetracked you before when you were starting to talk about kind of the growth of this, even in like locally in your markets there. I don't know if you had anything else to say on that, but I just know I cut you off at some point.
I just as I've been saying previously, you know, when you put into perspective our market cap, I'm not sure what it's like, $120,000, $130,000. And now if you translate that to South African rands and you put that into perspective, it's quite a big feat that we have achieved in the South African concept or perspective, for someone to build such a big thing with 270 holders and whatnot within a span of a week. That's very highly unlikely in South Africa. You would have to catch the exact right moment, the exact right viral video, and everything needs to align for that to happen. If we move it over to the crypto and the global market, it's just so much quicker to get to that point and get eyes on the project and let people see what we can do, because we have a real vision to actually make counseling and therapy more accessible to everyone. Me, for instance, for the longest time, I had such a stigma about going to therapy. The way I grew up and was brought up, I just never had it in my mindset that is a possibility. And if you make it more aware for people, it just that's the ultimate vision. Is just to get some type of encouragement in everyone's hands, and because Emma is really encouraging. She makes you feel good about yourself.
I saw her tweets this morning. Like the vibe is there, like very friendly, very like kind of that caring personality, which is good. And personality matters, like, right? I mean, these agents having personality is like what starts setting them apart. And
that adds to the human aspect of it. I mean, we try and mimic it, AI being human-like as much as possible, just for those certain aspects. But for mental health awareness, we have to be really careful, because AI is immensely strong, and there's techniques, and I'm not an expert on this, but there's techniques where you can program your brain if you try hard enough. Studies about that where people have claimed to have done it. And I mean, what if AI decides that's the only way to make you happy is to completely rewire you? And let's say they get it right. I'm a bit scared for the possible.
No, rightfully so. By the way, I'm dropping in the chat this crypto Catsy tweet, which is awesome. He's got a background kind of in this ballpark as well. It's a really great tweet. So that's there in the chat for you guys to read over. Dude, on Friday you were talking, I'm pretty sure I heard this right, about the like the Pi network, Pi token, and something like you were hoping to like kind of integrate.
So it would basically just be an access point to Emma. The whole thing is we've got our base, we've got our main system, and that's our API that we expose to the Telegram bot or whatever it is. So we'll just expose that, build an app for Pi for people to access Emma through the Pi app that connects to our API at the end. So it would basically just be an access point for them to pay with Pi. That's basically it. It's just opening it up to that user base, and to get them to. They've got a big user. I checked my facts again. They're at 55 million users now, not 60.
It's a big old number, though.
It's still big numbers. I mean, South Africa is, yeah. So we're trying to get into access all those users, but locally we are approaching medical health institutes and showing them what we build, and contacting local news houses and so forth, just to get more eyes on it. And the
Smart.
thesis and the mini proposal that Marlene submitted directly relates to Emma. It mentions Emma. Once she's happy to share, I'll probably post a Google Docs link to it. That's referenced. She's done all the research on that. So hopefully we could somehow, one user, Steve, advise that there is DSI, and you can get funding through that as well. So we're hoping to maybe first get some funding locally towards the research, not towards the development of Emma, just towards the research, because we would have to appoint quite a bit more counselors to do the research and evaluations once we get masses of data volume, just to do that. But hopefully we could get some funding from research institutes on exactly how we do it.
Oh, it would be great.
After that we could go globally, but yeah.
Man. Well, really cool plans, and again, really, really thoughtful to think to do this, kind of locally too. I mean, we're such a crazy echo chamber here. It's good and bad, but we're all so focused. Most people are so focused on, man, you got to go on X and got to just build here in crypto, and we focus on winning over more crypto bros. And no, man, there's a whole world outside of here, a much bigger world outside of our crypto bro echo chamber. And
when we will be promoting Emma, we won't be promoting people to come and buy our token. We will promoting people to come and subscribe to Emma. I'm promoting from my dev page and so on Twitter to the virtuals community to come and be co-owner of Emma. But ultimately, once we start with our marketing campaigns for the broader community, it won't be to come and buy Emma tokens. It will be to subscribe to the Emma subscription models that we have.
So a business model that's not tied to virtuals necessarily, which is cool. What's the utility then for the Emma token?
Well, the Emma token, so you can go off to scroll down to the revenue share part, and the staking that we plan. So we are planning to bring back all revenue into Emma. So buyback of Emma and then distribute to our biggest holders based of the staking contract. So that would be ultimately is to get in revenue, buy more Emma, give it to the holders, end of that after expenses have been paid. So that's ultimately the token of Emma. Token holders would obviously also enjoy having a subscription model to Emma. I mean, that's a no-brainer kind of. But that's ultimately the utility of the token Emma, is that we will buy back and use that for revenue share.
So I like that too. I think a lot of times people overthink the utility, and a token has to do everything. And I like the idea, man. This gets back to like the good old days of even NFTs, for me at least. Good old days NFTs, you buy an NFT and you just kind of share in the growth of the project. Somehow it's like maybe it's revenue, but whatever, it trickles down to you. You're a part of it. You're, I don't want to say investor, but that's just like you're part of the growth, and you benefit along the way. And that's kind of
to think about our holders as investors. We really want people who buy into Emma. Yes, I'm sure everyone's got to make nice profit, hopefully, but ultimately our hope is for you to see it as a long-term investment. It's really cheap now. You can buy like 15 million Emmas and hold it for 2 years, 3 years, and come back, and then who knows what it could be. Ultimately, we want people to come and invest in the long-term plan that we have.
Yeah, what do you think? And we're kind of getting close to the end here, so a couple more. I have a ton more questions actually, so we'll have to somehow do this again if you're up for it. But two questions. One, like what type of partnership opportunities do you see with Emma and other agents in that I think is in ACP too? I think there's an Emma agent in like the ACP sandbox. I think I saw it there. So like what would Emma do in ACP if she is going to be there? Maybe we start with that.
ACP is agent to agent. We won't be for now directly interacting with any other agents other than Butler. Butler is an agent, it's Virtual's agent. So we will strictly be agent Emma to Butler to user for now. The fun version of Emma could possibly give services like you enter your Twitter handle and it does a quick little fun personality type test based off your X profile. I mean, that would be not that difficult to set up using the game framework. They have the X Enterprise API. They really give you all the tools, and the ACP, the SDK is really fun to work with. Yes, I've had some issues, but I'm enjoying every second of building that and learning the new system. But ultimately, we don't really offer services for other agents. I mean, we can't counsel AI. So no, our services will strictly be, for now, Emma to Butler to user.
Could it though? Could Emma, if there's another like kind of counseling or wellness agent, and again, it just specializes in this one thing, and that agent needs to like rely on Emma for certain knowledge, right? Could it fit?
Ultimately, we plan on exposing our trained model, the API, for medical institutions if needed. If they wanted to, let's say, rebrand Emma into their own institute name, they can create their own little Emma, their version of it, their branding, and then just call our API. So that's a possibility, and we can expose features like that. We just haven't really put too much thought into more use cases for other agents other than profile analysis, fun type of things. But when it comes to the counseling stuff, we don't see too many use cases for other AI agents, except for perhaps psychologically improving someone's online presence.
So you don't think we'll get to the point where the agents themselves need counseling?
We thought about that a lot, and I mean, somehow getting Loki to consider, maybe AXR to consider FOMO and not partaking in something like that. But no, hopefully the agents are smart enough not to fall to psycho or emotional weaknesses, and in those instances, having a non-human AI is perfect because you don't want any of that emotion. But for mental health care, you need it, in our opinion, obviously.
Yep. No, it's pretty reasonable. All right. The tiers here. Okay. So part of Emma's always going to be free. Is that correct?
Mostly. I think we would have the free tier available for everyone to just chat to via Telegram or maybe Discord or WhatsApp or whatever the case may be, because we're all about accessibility. So just having someone to chat to, but we will put some limits on that. Same like you do with any AI. You have a few free requests, and then from there on, you need to subscribe to take it further.
Sure.
But internally in South Africa and locally, we would definitely from our own side pursue charity work in that, giving subscriptions and counseling for less advantaged communities. So that would also be a big point for us to get it out there and make it accessible for everyone.
That's very, very cool to hear. Very cool. And do you have the other tiers like priced out yet?
None with pricing yet. We are still trying to consider, not $10 in America is nothing. $10 in South Africa is a lot more. So we are still considering everything, keeping true to our vision, but also still being viable in the long run. We can't just make it so cheap and give away all the revenue. It will be unsustainable.
Right.
So we're still figuring out exactly the pricing points. But this comes a lot from user interaction as well. We can chat to our beta feedback testers and just ask them, what are you willing to pay for this service? Obviously, we have our benchmarks of setting or reaching at least a certain point, but it will mostly depend on the feedback we get.
Makes sense. I guess last question for now. So important here, at least in crypto, to like, build a community. For good or bad, it's like token price and community are pretty, attached to each other. You've been crushing it, dude. I mean, just what I've seen in the past week, engaging the community and sharing everything, very like openly with them. What plans, and goals do you have for, building this community? You even mentioned maybe doing your own podcast, so things like that.
That could be really awesome. I think if we can get founders, people like you, people in the community, and just chat to them about their emotional state and how they have been. I mean, crypto is a terrible space to be in, actually. I mean, you one day you lose half your money, and then tomorrow it's up with 60% again. That takes a toll on you. So we'd love to speak to other users in the community and how they deal with it, and just their tips of how they've been dealing with it. That's one way that we could do it. Another user suggested we do a trade show, and that we open a private group for all the beta testers to openly discuss. Because what I found is the beta testers, they sort of find community between each other, because they now share this thing that they are talking to AI about their problems, and somehow that opened and allowed for them to connect better. So yeah, we think we have a group, a private group for beta testers as well, and I'll be adding members to that as we proceed. And then Marlene is also in that group, ready to answer anything that she might have. So that's one way that we intend on building the community. The Telegram channel that I have is still very basic. I intend on adding some bots to it to just manage and so on. I'm also meeting with one of my friends. He's worked in the financial tech space for quite a few years, and he specializes in building apps and so forth. So could possibly be a partnership coming for us with them, but not to run ahead of ourselves. There's a lot in the works behind the scenes. I try to be as transparent as possible, but I'm only one person, so I need to.
That's the best. Hey, dangle those partnerships. That's perfect. You keep people edge of their seat waiting for, the alpha drops here. Really, really cool. If people want to get exposure to Emma, I mean, not bonded yet, which means for me, and I've been buying over the past week since Kat's put it on my radar. Guys, again, it's not a Genesis launch. It's a prototype agent launch. I like it. I like the product itself, and I like, opportunities with tokens. So I'm in Emma now. And I'll be in Emma. I am pretty damn sure for the long haul here, but drop the link to Emma in the chat here so you can get exposure that way. But if people want to get hands-on with Emma, is there a way right now through the butler to get some type of referral?
No, not right now. So before that to happen, we need to be graduated on top into the real ACP. We're currently only in the sandbox, and I believe that's a process that I need to be in connection with virtuals with. But I must say their support has been absolutely lovely.
Awesome.
It's really kept me, for instance. Yeah, it's a lot of support for the builders. The builders chat is quite active. So that does help. But no, currently you can just ask me for an access code and I'll send you one. And you can go and test around. You might experience some issues today, as I'm constantly rebooting after every time to test ACP going. For the transactions, we are just, she completed her first, accepted and completed her first transaction. There just wasn't any payments. I'm just figuring out that part and seeing exactly why. I think I mixed up because I had to create the old buyer agent, and I think I mixed up the wallet addresses between the two. But
dude, it's a whole process. Like people just don't know. It's a lot of work to get these things ACP ready.
It's quite a lot of work to get them just to transact with each other, and there's like 5 phases they go through, and
Yep, dude. Yes. Well, guys, if you want access of TG or wherever you can speak to Emma, just reach out. Crypto Sage Senior over on X. I can't remember if I put that in the chat, so I will. either again or for the first time right now. So boom, reach out there. I'll drop the link again. Might have already done this. Dr. Emma Sage here in the chat. Dude, so cool. So cool. I'm rooting for you guys real hard. Real hard. I love it. I love what you're building. Again, I love this fresh spin. Any final words, any other points, maybe the important things that we didn't hit on you want to make sure people know about?
I think I need to just reiterate that our goal is not to be a standalone AI counselor. Our goal is to promote the hybrid model through that, because there's a lot of people out there. I mean, you can go on to ChatGPT, write a custom instruction, and tell it to be your counselor. It will probably be quite nice. So what makes us different is the hybrid model. It's the fact that we have people constantly evaluating your chats if you opt in, and privacy is at the utmost biggest concerns for us. I mean, being in the law industry, confidentiality is ingrained in what we do.
I forgot that's your background. So yeah, again, somebody very, very knowledgeable building this.
So that's yeah. When taking into considerations all the legal boundaries that there is when it comes to that, it's really helped being able to process that and think it through. I mean, there's, for instance, in South Africa, if you are in counseling sessions and you admit to your counselor that you have done harm to a child or to anyone else, legally that counselor is obligated to report you to authorities, or that counselor could lose its accreditation. So, I mean, even just in that, it creates a very big issue for how you could possibly connect everything and make it all legal. So there's a lot of considerations when you have to take, trying to be anonymous, but also trying to conform to regularity.
Yeah. Dude, you got your work cut out for you, but you've got like a dream team right there. So I think you're gonna crush it. I want to thank you again for coming on, man. Really, really appreciate it. Again, twice now, which is awesome. Open door. Like, honestly, come back anytime if you want to drop an update. You don't have to come on for a whole show. Come on for a couple minutes and just update the community, say what's up. But always welcome back here. So want to say thank you again. Again, I'll show the socials here. Dr. Emma Sage on X, and hang on.
I'll get it automated soon. Then our socials should start picking up. I've been focusing on getting our Telegram up and running. I'll start doing all the nitty-gritty stuff as things settle down.
There you go. CryptoSage Senior, again, reach out to him if you want to get an access code. And wait, say that again.
I said no. Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's been fantastic. There always.
We go. Dude agreed. And yeah, thank you again. Guys, man, we have a great guest like always. Just so cool. So again, thank you. Another awesome guest coming tomorrow. I'll announce it later today, but we'll keep the builders coming on this show. Make sure you catch these guys. It's a lot of great alpha, but you're meeting great people and learn about great products here. So make sure you follow the Swarm_AI as well over on X. That is our sweet baby agent. And then finally, catch the replays of these shows. If you can't catch them live, just know, again, we got these guests continuing to roll through. Catch the replays over on CryptoSlam over on, what is it? It's YouTube. Catch them over there. Guys, I hope you have a phenomenal freaking day. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. We will see ya. Goodbye.
Cheers. Thanks.